Welcome back to the Female Advisor Collective, where in this episode, which is technically kind of the first episode we've ever done because we only did a brief introduction one last time, we're going to talk about exactly who we are, what we do, and why we think we're even remotely qualified to be helping people in financial services scale, build, or even have the idea of actually, can you take the leap? Can you go and do this as a full-time job around all of the other stuff that's going on in life? And I think the best place for us to start is to talk about our backgrounds. And Niamh, are you happy to go first to talk about your background?
Yeah, of course. So my background, I feel like I'm the kind of woman that's done a bit of everything. When someone speaks about me now, I'm like, yeah, just do this because I think you'll be here all week. But background for me is signage and marketing. So I've done signage and marketing for like 10, 11 years. Absolutely love it. Got into network marketing, learned how to build businesses online. COVID happened, I had a son, which is just the absolute light of my life. And then I needed a change. I felt like everything that I had done had worked towards this moment that I needed to take the leap and just do something massively out of my comfort zone. So for me, it was like, right, what can I do now that's absolutely crazy and nobody would expect it? And I was like, I know, I'll become a protection advisor. So yeah, that's my background, signage, network marketing, and then now helping people like mums build businesses online and start careers within financial services, as well as protecting the most amazing families, which I absolutely love. So that's me.
No, I feel like you kind of undersold yourself a little bit.
I know.
I'm going to just reel it back a little bit because we've spoken about when you did network marketing before.
Yeah.
Now, I actually don't know what network marketing is. I'm going to be really honest, and I'm just going to ask you to dumb that down for the idiot in the room for a second.
So it's like multi-level marketing. So imagine like what I did was very similar to like an Avon, but a lot better.
Okay.
And it was basically distributing cosmetic products globally. Mm-hmm. So it became quite big. I went on the success trips, had my car paid for. Like I loved it. I had a team of just under 1,000 people internationally. And I remember...
Can you just say that bit again for a second because you brushed over it? So how big was your team when you were doing network marketing?
About 970 people.
And you coached?
And managed.
All of those people?
The majority, yeah. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. I loved it though. I really, really did.
Didn't you say that you coached people not just in the UK as well when we spoke about this?
Yeah.
So some of your team were in other countries?
Yeah, that's right. So I had quite a big team in America, few people over in Australia, and my Spanish team was a decent size as well. So I remember a highlight of my career was breastfeeding whilst training my Australian team because when I was doing night foods, they was just waking up. So yeah, it was a big deal. It was good. I loved it. I just felt like it wasn't fulfilling me financially. So when it got too big, my money wasn't really increasing. So I thought, actually, I want to be more present. I don't want a job where I'm just having to be fixated on the computer, on my phone all the time. I wanted to... Having George really made me think about my priorities and what was important. So at that time, it was coming away from that to invest my time into something that's going to give me back tenfold, and it did.
So you stepped away from network marketing, even though you say success trips, they were like fancy trips abroad, right?
Yeah. So we went to Turkey, we went to Dubai. It was good, and I was really fortunate to meet the most amazing people. Like one of my absolute best friends, Jade, she introduced me into the company, and we did it together. Amazing. And it was brilliant, but yeah, I just didn't feel fulfilled by it.
You feel like you hit the ceiling and wanted to do something else that was going to give you the same, if not better, income, but a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
Having, how old was George when you did that?
1.
Cool.
Well, just born, yeah, just 1. So
okay.
It was a lot.
Why life insurance and protection? Because that's very niche.
It is, and I don't know anybody else that was doing it, or I didn't, until obviously you get into the industry and then you start to make connections and know that there's a lot of people around the corner from you that you can do and build something amazing with. But for me, it was actually, there was a loss really close to me at the time that I was looking for a career change, and that was very pinnacle for me because I was like, actually, that's what I want to do because I don't want to see another family in that position. So to me, it wasn't just about the money, although we're here to make money. It wasn't about that. It was about making sure that nobody would have to go through what I witnessed. So that was the tipping point for me, and that was like, right, I know it's random, but let's go.
And how's it been in financial services and protection?
Amazing. It's been amazing. I'm so grateful. Like, honestly, I am so, so grateful. It's been more than I ever imagined it to be in terms of opportunity, earnings, freedom, flexibility. It's just been more than I could have ever wished for. And obviously I work hard and things don't come easy, but it's very easy to make something of it if you're determined, as you know yourself. So yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
Amazing. So at the minute, you've got your protection and you're running your signage business as well, and you managed to do all of that whilst being a single parent. So you managed to do it around the school run, around everything else that happens when it comes to kids and school.
Yeah.
I know that you can't talk about income. So one thing that we have to mention, I think, quite early on is you work for a network, which is something that we'll probably do a whole episode on, which means that you're self-employed with life insurance and protection. You're also self-employed with your signage stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to say, I make this much money. No. Because it's part of an FCA regulation thing. If you work in that space, you can't. I, however, have a lot of students, and I'll come on to what I do in a second. So I have a lot of students who've been through the same journey that you've been through, and I can talk about their experiences with finances. But for you, it's been completely life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel it's the only time in my life where I've actually felt like comfortable and not stressed and not wanting to just... I've got no worry now. Obviously, it's a worry generating leads and that kind of thing, but once you're in it, and it just becomes normal for you to build that business and get those leads. But at this position that I'm in now, I just feel happy. Probably the happiest I've ever felt, which is great. And I feel such a sense of purpose too, which is it's cool.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I like it. I enjoy it.
So you're going to be the person that talks about lead generation, that talks about where do you find your clients? How do you advertise out to your clients? And then also all the little hacks when you're dealing with clients, because that's a huge part of it. If you can retain those customers, you have them for life.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas I'm going to talk about things from a slightly different perspective. So I run an online coaching company, and I specifically coach people who want to be in financial services. So I build CeMAP training, which is the qualification that you need to be a mortgage advisor in the UK. So I've done the other side of it, in a sense of I wanted to be a mortgage advisor and I failed spectacularly in getting the qualifications, but decided that actually instead of getting the qualifications and going into advice like you did, I wanted to coach people to get those qualifications. So we have a very nice split of both sides of the spectrum. So anybody that's not sure if they want to do it yet or what is involved in doing it, that's where my area of expertise comes in, alongside being able to build a business on social media, because that's what I've done. And also, just like you, figuring out how you run a business or how you're self-employed around kids, because that's such a big thing. I don't even know how many school holiday weeks there are anymore, but I feel like it's got to be at least 15 weeks a year. I don't know how many it is, but being able to go, okay, do you know what, I'm going to take 8 weeks off and I'm somehow still going to be able to make money during that 8-week period is such a big privilege, and also completely achievable in financial services. And I found that with the coaching side of things as well. But I can help with things like, how do you build a social media presence? How do you then look at converting those guys to actually having conversations? But once I get to that point, that's kind of my knowledge up. That's where you come in and you go, actually, here's where I can help with all of this stuff. So we're hoping to bring a lot of knowledge from both sides. We're hoping to be able to talk a lot about both protection and mortgages. And I think possibly that might be the next episode that we do is, which do you do? Spoiler, probably both. And I think that probably ties everything in quite nicely.
And I've got a question for you. So, oh God, really? Coaching, how long have you been doing it?
Good question. So COVID, like you, I also had a child. So in 2022, I had my daughter, wanted to be a mortgage advisor, couldn't because I couldn't pass the exams, and then vented in frustration my experience with not being able to pass the qualification. And just started posting about it on social media. And that really quickly spiraled into messages coming through from people to say, Charlotte, can you help? So I was still working in the mortgage advice space, just not as a mortgage advisor at the time, and sending people messages to be like, I didn't understand that in my exam either. And then I made one sale of £120 and decided that I was going to quit my job and just try and coach people full time.
Love it.
So I've been really, really fortunate. I had to make this work in a sense of there wasn't another choice at the point when I quit my job. It had to happen. I had a little girl. I had no financial support coming in from anywhere else. So I had to do it. And a lot of people go, yeah, but how did you do it? I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So the first year was tough in the same way that the first year in financial advice is tough, because that's the point when you have to put yourself out there and you have to go, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. And at that point, you don't really have any credibility. But to be able to be consistent with it, I've been coaching since then. So this will be my 24th year in coaching. And I now get to say that I run a 6-figure business, and I get to do that around the school holidays. And I get to ring you and be like, Niamh, do you want to go to Egypt with the kids next week? And Niamh's like, yes, I do.
You know, she texted me the other week and was like, do you want to go on holiday in April? And I know it's like 3 weeks away, but should we do it?
And that's why we're here, because we want to be able to tell other women that it is completely possible to be able to go, actually, I want to take all the school holidays off and I want to make 6 figures during the period of time that I'm taking the school holidays off, because it is achievable. And a lot of people go, yeah, but that's a very small percentage. Yeah, but it's just a small percentage that actually give it a go.
Yeah.
Like if you know what to do and if you're driven enough to do it, the world is literally your oyster. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, it's absolutely uncapped. And that's one thing I love about it, the fact that it is uncapped and it's down to you. So you either make it happen or you don't, kind of thing. You've got full control of everything, which I suppose you feel the same. Like, it's just such a nice feeling. Not having to book annual leave, not having to ask anybody if you can do anything. Like, it's good.
That's it. It's the possibility of when you're self-employed in financial services or in coaching like I do, you go, really want to go on holiday next week. Where can I find 1,200 quid? And then you go, okay, how are we going to make this work? And when you're self-employed, it's actually quite plausible to be able to do that. But the big risk is going self-employed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
it's daunting.
Yeah, I was on a £27,000 a year salary, and then I quit with nothing, with £3,000 in my savings, which was, 2 months worth of salary, and was like, I'm going to have to find a way to make this work.
Yeah.
And then within a year, it was dipping into 6 figures. So it's possible.
It's crazy. And everybody that I've spoken to during my time as an advisor has always said to me, taking the risk is the hardest bit of the job. Once you've done that, everything else, it's like a domino effect. It just snowballs. So as long as you're willing to put the effort in and do the work, then it's just absolutely so rewardable. But one thing that people have said to me also is that they're grateful, that they just thought, let's go.
Yeah.
And they've never looked back since. So once you've initially done it, you're thankful that you have. It's just taking that big, scary risk and getting them lady balls. Like I always say to everybody, grow some lady balls and just get it done. And then they're so grateful that they did, because it's the best thing in the world.
Do you know, I was thinking about a tagline for this podcast?
Lady balls.
Lady balls. Grow some lady balls and just get it done.
I think it works.
It does.
It works.
And I reckon that ties us up quite nicely for this episode, because the next one, Niamh, what are we doing for the next one?
So the next one, we're going to be talking about where to start, because we understand that it can be absolutely such a minefield. So we're going to break things down to make things a little bit easier and give you a full understanding on how to get your business out there. So yeah, if you can like, subscribe, give us a follow, that'd be amazing. And thank you.
Thanks.